This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
News time is 7 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Friday. Top of the morning from the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded local newscast. Brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters. And the morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. The Clinton City Council Tuesday night approved over $100,000 in summer maintenance street work. Steve Lobb is the Public Works Director for the City of Clinton and tells Regional Radio one change coming up for this year's cycle of work is an earlier start with the goal of an earlier finish.
We're going to try to get all our seal coat work done in a much more timely manner. The past couple seasons, just for reasons beyond our control, oil's been going down very late in the year. Late into September, even into early October. And that's not great. You want to get that oil down with a lot more warm weather so it will set and cure. Okay. So we've actually set a completion date of July 31st. That said, we're going to be out at different locations throughout town, rehabbing the roads, getting them ready for seal coat. So, people just need to be aware. Off the top of my head, I know that we're doing a couple of the courts. We're doing Deerfield and Tartar. We're doing Kirkwood Drive. But we're doing others throughout the town, and I don't have the list with me tonight. Yeah, sure. But we will be out getting things ready, and barring bad weather or a storm or something that gets us off track, July 31st is the knockdown date. Sure. We'll have all the oil done by then.
Most of the street work again this year is going to be an oil and chip mix. Lobb indicates that has become the preferred method of road preservation because of its cost effectiveness. He hopes, though, the earlier start will make the preservation more effective.
It's pure and simple. It's economics. It is the most cost-effective way to maintain secondary roads in Illinois. And it's not just Illinois, as you say. It's across the country, frankly. There's just, in a perfect world with an unlimited amount of money, I would love to come through and put hot mix asphalt or concrete on every street. But that's hundreds of millions of dollars to try to do the 65 miles of road that we have. It's just the best way we can maintain the surfaces that we have. Sure. And primarily, the highest percentage of our roads are oil and chip or seal coat. So, we're just maintaining what's been kind of dealt us, but it's really a matter of funding. Sure. We just don't have any other way to do it. And yes, it is messy through the process. It's messy shortly after the process. But by doing it earlier, we are going to see a much better result. We won't see near the dust. The rock will set better. I think people will be a lot happier with the end result, getting it done earlier in the year.
Preliminary engineering has begun on the next big street project in Clinton, which will be Jackson Street. We'll hear more from Lobb on that ahead of the council's next meeting on June 18th, where the council will take up the approval of that contract. After near-record precipitation in April, May ended just below normal for rainfall. Mike Albano at the National Weather Service in Lincoln indicates some areas have received a lot of rain and others not so much. But when you average it all out, May is just about in line for rainfall.
Well, what I can tell you is after a almost near-record wet April that we had, May picked up right where April left off. Now, we did have some gaps in the action. And contrary to popular belief, we're actually running a little bit lean on precip for the month of May. We're a little bit lower than what is normal. For central Illinois, we close the books on May, typically we get about 4 1/10 inch of rain. Right now, we're sitting at about 3.0. So we're almost an inch down in parts of the central part of the states. Now, some of these storms that we had last Friday, they set up along Interstate 72, so parts of the Champaign-Urbana area, they actually had some flash flooding, so they're running a little bit higher than what is expected for the month of May. Some of those locations have gotten about 5 inches. So, but you put all those in a blender, you mix it all out, and we're right where we should be for the month of May. I know farmers kind of got a late start with how wet the soils were coming out of April. I feel pretty good about the next week or so drying out and us being right where we need to be for this time of year.
Like the precipitation, temperatures were up and down in May. Albano points out when you average those all out, May came right in about in line with the yearly averages.
For the month of May, we had an average temperature, so daily highs should be around about 75 degrees, and we're gonna close the books on May right around that too. So again, we had a few really hot days. I know last week we'd gotten well into the 80s. Earlier in the month, we had some mid to upper 80s heat, which is a little bit hotter than what we should be. But with some cool nights, we're going to be right on target for the month of May as well. And as we head into June, that average daily high should be around 80 with lows in the upper 50s.
May experienced one of the more active weather patterns in recent memory. Albano points out it isn't unusual to see a lot of severe weather and tornadoes, but May definitely saw an uptick this year.
I think a lot of that volatility, not unusual in spring, right? You've got the clash of warm, moist air coming up from the Gulf, the kind of the colder air coming down along the front range of the Rockies, those two air masses combining, and usually we do get some pretty volatile weather in the spring. It's our peak of severe weather. This year especially the last 3 or 4 weeks have been very, very active. We haven't really seen a spring quite this active since May of 2019. You kind of look back at what was happening then versus what's happening now. There's drawing some comparison, and I think what's happening is we were in an El Nino. We're kind of in a transition phase now of neutral, going to La Nina later this summer, maybe as early as the middle of June. Certainly by July, I think there's a 70% chance of us entering back into La Nina. But that transition phase, being in a neutral phase during the month of May, I think has a lot to do with how active and how severe the weather has been. So you have to remember too, with the whole El Nino, La Nina, we've really only been tracking it since like the 70s and 80s. So certainly a lot of years there. We're starting to get 50, 60 years worth of data, but on the grand scale of things, still not a lot of data when you think about it. Yeah, well, I think it's just for us, we look at the number of warnings that we've issued. And, if you just want to zoom in specifically on central Illinois, we're actually a little bit below the number of warnings we've issued. We had some pretty active weather last year. Folks will probably remember that. What am I talking about? Last year was way worse. And I think they're right. Here at home, we had the severe weather outbreak at the end of March last year, March 31st. We had some pretty large hail events. We had a derecho come through at the end of June. So in some respects, this has actually been a little bit quieter for us, but parts of Missouri, Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, they have just been getting hammered with severe weather. And I do kind of attribute it to this transition from El Nino to La Nina during the month of May into June.
A positive, as we're now a week into June, Albano indicates thanks to the wet start to the spring, most of the country is beginning the traditional summer season without drought. A public hearing was held at Central A&M Middle School Thursday to discuss proposed improvements to the US 51 and Leafland Street intersection. The meeting was held in an effort to provide the public with an opportunity to ask questions, review plans, and for the Illinois Department of Transportation to share what is coming next for the project. Jeffrey Myers is the Region 4 engineer for the Illinois Department of Transportation and says after reviewing many different design alternatives, the plan moving forward is what is called a J-turn, which has shown to cut down on crashes, especially severe crashes.
We looked at various alternatives. One of them was keeping what we had in place. Another one was looking at traffic signals, and then we looked at the J-turn. The J-turn helps to eliminate some of the conflict points. It helps to reduce not only the number of crashes, but the severity of those crashes. So you don't get the angle crashes to where someone would get T-boned as much. You would get more of maybe a side swipe or a rear end type crash, a less severity. So it does restrict the straight across movement, which does eliminate one of the conflicts. There is a mild inconvenience to having to go down the road and swing back around, but it's hard to argue with statistics that we have. Nationally, they say it decreases crashes on the 50+% range. The one we have in place at Macon, we've seen over 90% reduction in crashes, so we It's a proven intersection type, and I think it's going to fit in well here.
A similar J-turn is used in Macon and has cut down on crashes. Myers says the hope is to have construction start in 2025.
Sure, yeah. Behind the scenes, we've been working on the design, working on our environmental reports to make sure that everything is cleared. So we're working on the design. We wanted to bring this to the public. I think in the past we've noted to both the media and to some of the affected property owners, those around the area, that we were going to bring this to the public. So we felt this was important to bring it to the public, get their input on it. We're looking at a November letting this year, so we'll be turning plans in probably in late August to get it on a November letting. And then we would expect construction to begin in the spring of 25. And it should take about a season, a little less than a season to complete. So if they start on it, if we get an early start in the spring and construction, it should easily be constructed and open by next fall.
Between 2014 and 2019, there were 19 total crashes at US 51 and Andrews Street Road in Macon. The J-turn opened in the fall of 2019, and since there has been just one crash, 0 car-on-car crashes were reported since the J-turn was opened. This is a 94% reduction rate in crashes to date. Currently, the intersection in question between US 51 and Leafland since 2017 has seen 28 crashes. US 51 at that intersection sees an average of 3,775 vehicles per day. Leafland Street sees 1,100 vehicles per day. Summer programs for all groups and ages are still open at the Macon County Conservation District in Decatur, which are the mini camps for ages 1 through 5, Extreme Camp for kids ages 10 to 15, and Adventure Club for ages 5 to 12. Alicia Callison is the Director of Program Services at the Macon County Conservation District and says these events all have educational foundations that keep kids engaged through hands-on and informative activities. She says there's still space open for children to participate in these various camps.
We do, yeah. So some of our camps are full, but we do have some openings in a few of them. So if you have any kiddos that are between the ages of 1 and 5, they might like to come to our mini camps. These are 1-hour camps. And it's a good opportunity to kind of dip their toes into learning about nature and having fun with other kiddos their age. So that's a fun one. And then we have Extreme Camp, which is for the older kiddos, age 10 through 15. And they're doing more adventurous stuff, like they're going to a live cave and going caving. They're going to do some orienteering and learn how to, follow a map. And then we have Adventure Club, which is learning kind of about nature and different types of habitats, and that's for kids ages 5 through 12. So we've got several different options still available. If you'd like more information about summer camps or anything else that we have going on at the district, visit our website at maconcountyconservation.org.
The Adventure Club will have the opportunity to venture inside a live cave in southern Illinois.
There is a cave, it's called Illinois Caverns. It is in southern Illinois, and it is a live cave. It hasn't been, there's no lights in it. It hasn't been, altered for tourism necessarily. So you go in and it's completely dark and it's drippy and you need a headlamp and you got to squeeze through some spots. So it is definitely an adventure, and if you're into that kind of thing, it's such a fun activity and experience that not a lot of kids around here get to do. So a very cool opportunity, I think.
Callison says inspiring these young children to pursue a career in a nature-based career is the goal, but the focus of the camps is also to provide introductory nature experiences to those who might already have that passion for wildlife and the outdoors.
It's definitely on our mind. It's hard to say necessarily what the motivation is for some of our registrants, as to why they want to attend. Sometimes they voice that, sometimes they don't. But it is definitely something that we want to foster and encourage.
Totally. And we got Adventure Camp as well. Still space is open in that one if kids want to join?
Yes.
Awesome.
And Adventure Club takes place on Tuesday mornings from 9 to noon here at Rock Springs. And it is kind of a taste of our week-long camp. So we have a camp that runs Monday through Friday, but it's full right now. But Adventure Club is like a bite-sized version of that. So they're learning the same kinds of concepts that week-long camp is learning, and they get to go hiking, and they get to do some canoeing, and they get to learn about the different habitats and critters that we have in our area. So it's a lot. I think it's a lot of fun, and it's a good kind of introductory camp experience.
Visit MaconCountyConservation.org for more information. Also find the group on Facebook. News time is 22 minutes after 7 o'clock here on this Friday morning. We've got much more coming your way next on The Morning Show.
Baum Chevrolet Buick offers full transportation options while giving you peace of mind. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton. This is what we do every day. We listen to you, give you options for routine maintenance, major mechanical problems, or collision repairs with a staff that's knowledgeable to find the best option for you. Baum Chevrolet Buick, your full-service dealer. See us at BaumChevyBuick.com right from the start.
News time is 23 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Friday. Again, I'm Seth Lawrence with you folks today for this expanded local newscast. Moweaqua Powwow Days are in full swing through Saturday, and there's plenty of great family fun and events that are taking place throughout the weekend, including a very busy Saturday. Thursday night, the pageant saw the pageants, and the Moweaqua Mayor, Sean Conlon, says the theme this year is music, fun, and more in 2024. Conlon says a lot is coming to the powwow still.
Our theme this year is music, fun, and more in 2024, and so we've kind of run with that with some Saturday night. I know I'm jumping ahead, but we do have music bingo, which is a new thing for us. We've added several new things this year, just trying to keep it fresh, and but then we also have some of our favorites. So we brought back Thursday night, and we started tonight with the pageant, and then that way the reigning queen and the little Mr. and Miss have the weekend then to wear their crowns and be in the parade tomorrow, or Saturday, sorry. And then Friday night we have Eric Burgett, and then Saturday there's a parade and a whole bunch of activity.
The car show takes place on Saturday. You can register for the car show from 10 a.m. to noon at Central Park in Moweaqua. Caitlin Villanova talked more about the car show.
I tell you, we've got classes from your street rods and rat rods to your trucks, Corvettes and Camaros, and then we go all the way into tractors and motorcycles, and here in town we've got a lot of side-by-sides and golf carts, so we have a class for that too. We know everybody likes to get those all shined up to bring out. We really like to see any car that can come out. It's a big rural area, small rural area, so we like to see the tractors too.
Yep. Is there gonna be any prizes or anything like that for the cars this year?
Oh yeah, we've got a trophy plaque for our prizes this year. For the top of each class, then we've got a Best of Show sign that's coming out, and we've got some awesome prizes like signs and car wash details, all sorts of things ready for the event.
Friday night, we'll see a concert from Eric Burgett. Laura Seitz talks more about that.
We have Eric Burgett, and he is coming tomorrow night. You won't want to miss it, so come to the Moweaqua Central Park. He's been on the Kelly Clarkson Show, and his current single is Loving Mess, and he has done a lot of streams, 16 million streams with Spotify, Apple, Amazon. He's been here before, so this is a repeat concert, and it's just a fantastic show. So come out for Eric Burgett tomorrow night, 7 to 9, and then he's doing a meet and greet at the end. So that's cool, too. He's got T-shirts, and he loves his crowd.
Visit the Moweaqua Powwow Days Facebook page for more information on this weekend's events. The latest Purdue University CME Group Ag Economy Barometer is out. James Mintert is with the Purdue Center for the Commercial Agriculture.
Yeah, so the barometer did improve a little bit this month. It was up, I think, 9 points, so a reading of 108 versus 99 last month. If you go back a year ago, it was at 104. 2 years ago, it was at 99. So I think really, although it was a modest improvement from April to May, I think probably the bigger picture, Jim, is that the barometer's been kind of trading sideways for roughly 2 years now. floating between that reading of about 99 on the low end and about 125 or 126 or so on the upper end. And that's really reflective of the fact that, I think from producers' perspective, the big challenge they keep telling us on our survey every month is the high cost of everything, right? The high input cost continues to be their number one concern. That hasn't gone away. And we've seen commodity prices kind of erode in that time frame over the last couple of years. And so people are worried about a cost price squeeze. And I think that's really the bigger picture. It's 2024. People are telling us it's going to be a more challenging year than 2023. And, that's really the cause for the kind of softness, I'd call it, in the barometer from a longer term perspective.
The index is based on a survey of 400 agricultural producers on economic sentiment each month. News time is 28 minutes after 7 o'clock here on this Friday morning. Coverage of news today is brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, and the morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube. Brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton.